So it's been about a week since I did that unboxing, and I've been using my boox Palma pretty much nonstop ever since. So I thought now would be a good time to sit down, give you my full thoughts on the device, and also give a little comparison to my other e-reader device, which is the Amazon Kindle. So I do want to say that this device was sent to me by Boox, but all of these opinions are my own, and I will be giving my honest, positive, and negative thoughts on this device. Now, with that being said, overall, I have to admit, I love it. I really, really do love the boox Palma. I think for me, it just so perfectly fits into my life and what I really need out of an e-reader and what I felt like I was missing with my Kindle and my iPhone. And yeah, it just really has like filled in all those gaps, and I've just really loved using it. One of the first differences between this and something like a Kindle is obviously its size. I don't think there is another e-reader out there that is as small as this. It is a little bit bigger than my iPhone. So I have the iPhone Pro, and the boox Palma is a bit bigger. I would say it's probably about the same size as the iPhone Pro Plus, which is the largest iPhone. So if you've ever held one of those, that's about the size that the boox Palma is. And I would say it's about a third smaller than my actual Kindle and just a tiny bit shorter. So the size is definitely something that I really do love about this device. I am often running out the door with no bag or a small bag or a very full bag, and it's nice to just kind of shrink down my technology and to not have as many things that I'm lugging around with me. So that is definitely a selling point that I love. Now, if I'm being honest, if I was a betting girl, I would not be surprised if Amazon came out with their own little mini e-reader either. So you know, make of that what you will, but obviously they don't have one out right now. I also just like the design itself of the boox Palma. I think it's really pretty. I love the specific sort of ivory shade of white that they went with. They do also come in black. I especially really like the material that they used for the back of the books. Obviously, I am not going to be touching that because I put a case over mine, but if you're not someone who puts a case on your e-readers, I really do like that texture. It basically mimics the feeling of parchment paper, and it's quite satisfying. And then yeah, as you can see, obviously I put a case on mine, did some decorating. All these things are stickers and things that I've picked up around my travels or as gifts, so sort of things I've collected over time. If you're looking for a cute pop socket, I always recommend searching Korean pop sockets or Grip Talks because those have like cute ones, or if you just search like ribbon pop sockets, they have so many of them on like AliExpress and stuff like that. If you were paying attention in the unboxing, I did at one point put the fold over cover, I don't know what you call those, but the like book style cover basically, they included that when they sent me this. I personally really didn't like it. Like, I hate those kinds of covers on phones. I used to have one on my Kindle and I got rid of it. It's just not my thing. And they do also on their website have the option to get a transparent phone case, or not phone case, books case, but it is transparent, it's not clear. So if you want like stickers and things, it does kind of hide them a bit. So I just ended up getting one off of Amazon. It was like 10 bucks. So now where the Kindle is superior is definitely on that battery life. It's not running as many things, so obviously it can sustain its battery for a far longer amount of time. I know that this is ironic saying that when my Kindle's literally at low battery right now, but genuinely, like, obviously if you have a Kindle, you know, but they can hold a charge for ages and ages and ages. I do think mine has started to lose its ability to keep a long charge, but my Kindle is also a decade old, which again is another bonus of the Kindles. I do feel like everyone I know who has a Kindle has had theirs for many, many years, and they're really rough with them, and they stand up to the test of time and to life and all of that. And I think that's really impressive for a piece of hardware. So I want to give that credit where it's due. I obviously can't speak to that with the boox Palma because I've only had it for a week, so I don't know how hardy it is as a device, but I will say, yeah, that is definitely something that I appreciate about the Kindle. I've had this for a decade and I've never felt the need to upgrade until recently with the battery, and then also just noticing that those refresh times of the e-ink, it's just like kind of really slow compared to more modern Kindles, and especially compared to the books. The books' refresh rate is like night and day difference between my Kindle, which would make sense. Again, it's a decade old, so not really a fair comparison there. But yeah, like I mentioned, this is just running less stuff. You're only really reading on this versus on the books, you have basically an Android phone, but without the ability to call people. Like you have the access to the full Google Play Store and all of the apps that are in there. So you can have, if you want, TikTok and YouTube on this device. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. Basically anything you can get on the Google Play Store, you can put onto your Books Palma. And I think that's so amazing because basically that means you're not beholden to the Kindle ecosystem. So if you have a Kindle, you basically, your only options for where you get your books are Amazon or your library if they have an app like Libby or Overdrive where they're able to send the books to your Kindle. Whereas with the Books Palma, I have so many different reading apps. So obviously I have my Kindle app, which I still use. I'm not getting rid of this Kindle. Like she's been with me for like almost a decade and she's staying with me. So it's nice that I have the Kindle app and it syncs across all of my devices. So I have that. Then I also have Libby, which is library books. And I love that I can have that on here and just use it to manage my library requests and all of that on this device. I also have Everand, and Everand is one of the big selling points for me for this device. So Everand used to be called Scribd. I've been a subscriber for many years. I want to say like also like almost a decade. I've just nonstop had Scribd. It has always been in my life. The premise of Scribd, or Everand, sorry, the premise of that app is that you get unlimited access to all of their audiobooks and ebooks. However, they do throttle you in the sense that as you read more, your options get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, especially those like newer releases or really coveted titles. They kind of start to go away the more and more that you read. So if you're a voracious reader, you will have more limited options as the month goes on. But then at the end of the month, it resets and you're back to the full library again. I love Everand because I feel like half the time any audiobook that I want is on there or Libby. And it just is able to like save me a bunch of money because I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. One of the things that I've never been able to utilize are Everand's ebooks because I hate reading on a phone screen. I just don't like reading on a non-e-ink reader. I don't know why. Obviously I can read like articles and things on my phone, so I don't know why I really hate reading books on my phone, but I do. It's just not pleasant to me at all. But now I get to, and it's so nice. And they're just like on the Everand app and I can download it so I can read them offline. It's great. One of the best parts, honestly, about having this device is getting that full access of that ebook catalog on Everand. And then there's a variety of like manga/comic apps. So for example, Webtoon, obviously, but there's also the Viz Media app, so I can read manga through that. And I think that's really cool that I can like read manga so easily through this and have those subscriptions. I do believe that there is a Kindle, I think you get like Comixology or something through Kindle. So I do believe you can also do that with Kindle, but I really like having all the options on my Books Palma. And then the other way that I love to read books, as I mentioned, is through audiobooks. And so I also have my Libro FM and Audible accounts on here. And I love that because obviously sometimes I will just listen to audiobooks through the device, but sometimes when I'm having a really hard time focusing, what I will do to kind of hack my brain is read a book physically while also listening to it. And it just helps me really stay focused and ingest all that information. And so I could do both of those things on this one device, which is so nice because if I want to do that on my Kindle, I have to read it on my Kindle and then get the audiobook on my phone. And it's just nice to only have it on this one device. I guess I can tell you the other apps that I have on here. So I have Spotify, which I enjoy because I have my like cozy reading playlist. So it's nice to just have that on there. I will say that the audio quality, like it's not going to be anything like your iPhone. It's fine though. I didn't notice that it was bad audio quality until I started playing audio out of my iPhone, and I was like, oh yes, I do hear that difference. But again, I don't think you're buying this device for its audio quality, and honestly, I mostly listen to anything on here with headphones. Goodreads, obviously, again, that's just like really nice and convenient that like after I'm done with a reading session, I can immediately open Goodreads on here and update where I'm at. I do, again, think that there is a Goodreads tie-in with the Kindle, but honestly, at least on mine, and it might just be because mine is old, I've always kind of found it clunky, so I'd never really set it up, but I love it on here. I love just having the whole entire Goodreads app, you know? And then I also just have a Sudoku game on here because sometimes when I'm listening to an audiobook, I just kind of want to zone out and like let myself really, especially when like books are getting really intense, I just like need to sit there and listen and like play Sudoku and just be zen for a little bit. So I love that. So those are the apps that I have on here. I've also fully customized it. That's the other thing I really enjoy. If you want to customize your Kindle, you do have to pay extra to remove the ads, but I love that on the Books Palma, I'm able to change the wallpaper on my home screen and the screensaver that it's set to when the device is not in use. So I just think that's really nice. Now, which one should you choose? Or if you already have a Kindle, do you need the Books Palma? This is honestly like such a personal question. It really depends on your own uses. So like for me, I'm on public transit a lot. I use sometimes a small bag that the Kindle takes up too much space in or just doesn't fit in. And with all of that in mind, the books make sense. Also, I read on all these different apps like I just told you, but if you're just reading ebooks that you get from Kindle Unlimited or the Amazon web store, then you probably are just fine having your Kindle. And then you have no real reason to get a different device, in my opinion at least. But if you resonate with anything that I mentioned about how I read or the apps that I like to use, then you might want to debate this. Now, I will say that there is a pretty big difference in price. The Books Palma is almost double the price of the Kindle Paperwhite, so that is another thing to keep in mind if you're interested. My last sort of reasons why I love this device are a bit more personal and have maybe a bit to do with my own like executive dysfunction, to be honest. So one thing, I've been trying to get faster at reading books, and something that scientifically, I guess, has been proven is that the more you have to like look back and forth on a book, the longer it's going to take you to read a book. It's just like that movement, for some reason, it just takes longer. Versus if you can read just straight up and down, you will read a lot faster. That's like a tip that speed readers give that I've never been able to accomplish. Like they say when they read a book, they try and just go down. They don't go back and forth. I have no idea how they do that. But what is really nice about the Books Palma is that is how you read. Like you're not going across a long page as much, and even compared to this, it obviously is a smaller screen. Because of that screen size, I find that I'm able to read honestly a lot faster. It's had a huge impact on my reading speed, so I love that. I will also say that I am a chronic doom scroller, so I spend, unfortunately, a lot of time on my phone. It's something that I'm actually working on. Probably gonna have a whole video on that in the near future, but yeah, I have this thing where I really struggle to allow myself to do hobbies that I genuinely enjoy, like crafts, reading a physical book, so like anything. Sometimes when I am having really severe executive dysfunction issues, it's hard for me to like get myself to do almost anything. And I feel so much guilt over it. It's literally the way that I described it once. It's like, it feels like a waking nightmare almost. Like I feel like I'm in my brain screaming at myself, but I just like my body, I can't move. And I don't know what the disconnect is, but that's something that I need to work out and figure out on my own. But it is something that impacts my day-to-day life in the sense that I often will have things that I want to do, like clean, do, an assignment that I need to work on, or even if I want to do something fun, like if I want to read a book or whatever, I just feel so much guilt doing those things or have an inability to do those things. But I don't have that issue when it comes to just sitting and scrolling on my phone. And I think it's because my brain knows that that doesn't bring me any sort of like joy. So it's like, we can let you do this because you won't feel guilty about it because you're not actually enjoying it. But then I do feel guilty about it because then I'm like 5 hours deep into a TikTok doom scroll session, and that's horrible. But anyways, all that to be said, I don't have that issue with the books Palma. And I genuinely think it's like almost a placebo effect where because it is like almost the same size as my iPhone and I'm doing that same scrolling movement, I think my brain is just like, oh yeah, you can do this. You're fine. You're allowed to do this. So that is a very personal thing that maybe a couple of you will be able to relate to. I don't want to sell it as though this is going to cure your ADHD or your executive dysfunction issues at all, because like I am not a doctor and I don't want to promise that, but that is just something that I have noticed for myself and I wanted to share it with you guys. I guess the question is, which device would I recommend? I think if, again, I mentioned earlier, you're a Kindle Unlimited, Amazon ebook reader, you're fine with the Kindle. It's fairly cheap, it lasts forever, and they have really pretty colors now, or at least they have one pretty color. They have that like new sage green. So this is a totally wonderful e-reader. There's also obviously the Kobo or the Barnes & Noble Nook. Again, if you want out of that Amazon ecosystem, but you still want that sort of normal e-reader experience, there's options. And I don't want to discount those options because obviously they're also like more affordable. If you have more of a budget to spend and you do really want a smaller device, if anything that I mentioned about why I love the books Palma resonates with you, I love this device. Genuinely, like it is maybe my new favorite piece of technology. I never want it to leave my side. It is my new best friend. I love reading on it. I love just everything I'm able to do on it. It's perfect. I love it. Everything that I need, it does. Those are my general thoughts. If you guys have any specific questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. But as of right now, I adore this device and I'm so happy to have it in my life. You'll definitely be seeing it a lot in future reading vlogs because, again, it's really improved my reading speed. So I almost feel like I might switch to primarily reading on this. We'll see. I'm obviously in the honeymoon phase, so eventually I'll get that itch to want a physical book again, but to be able to read so quickly is just so nice. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the books Palma. I love this device. Genuinely, it is my new best friend and I am so excited to have it in my life, and I will definitely be reading so many books on here. I've already read a couple. I've reached to the end of this video. Leave your favorite book emoji. I'm always curious what everyone's default book emoji is. Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you all so much for watching and I'll talk to you next time. Bye!